Very good morning and welcome to Athavan News Paper Highlights. Today Thursday, 18th of February 2016. Paper Highlights read by Edward Udedas Devasagayam Pillai. Today we have three leading newspapers in hand for the highlights: Daily Mirror, Daily News and Ceylon Today. Firstly, we take Daily Mirror. Totalanga protest holds up traffic. No one allowed to acquire state lands. Protest lasts till Wednesday morning, creating chaos during rush hours. Some residents rented out the granted houses and returned to unauthorized dwellings. Most of the residents were given two housing units. The residents of the unauthorized dwellings down the Ferguson Road at Totalanga held a protest blocking the Sri Lanka-Japan Friendship Bridge on Tuesday night, causing heavy traffic during rush hours that lasted till last morning, the police said. Google balloons operational in a few months. One Google Loon balloon had entered into Sri Lankan airspace on Monday, but it is yet to be operational, ICTA Information Infrastructure Program Manager Gavaskar Subramaniam said yesterday. He said 3 balloons had already sent to Sri Lanka by Google and the other 2 balloons were on the way. A special team from Google would arrive in Sri Lanka to test on coverage tests, which is scheduled to begin in the coming months, Mr. Gavaskar said. After the connection was tested, Google would provide about 13 Loon balloons to cover the entire country while delivering a high-speed internet service powered by helium-filled balloons, he said. Arrest me if I did anything wrong, Venerable Uduwe Damaloga. Venerable Uduwe Damaloga Thera, who is presently at the center of the controversy for allegedly possessing an elephant sans a permit, yesterday challenged the authorities to arrest him if nurturing an elephant calf that had been abandoned in his temple was an unlawful act. Secondly, let's move to Daily News. Demands of unauthorized settlers. Ranavaka refuses to budge. 1 month's grace period for those living in rent-in houses of original owners. The demands of the unauthorized settlers who have already been given houses will not be entertained, Minister of Megapoly and Western Development Patali Champika Ranavaka informed the Totalanga protesters yesterday. In a discussion held with representatives of the Totalanga settlers who held demonstrations blocking the Japan-Lanka Friendship Bridge on Monday evening, the minister said that the authorities will give a 1-month grace period to the residents who were living on rent in the houses of the original owners to vacate the premises. The owners of the houses would have already been awarded a house, but since the current occupants were living on rent, they have now no houses. The police and the authorities are now engaged in identifying these families, and those who are yet to receive houses will also be allowed to stay temporarily, Minister Champika Ranavaka told the Daily News. President meets Merkel. German Chancellor assures more assistance. German Chancellor Dr. Angela Merkel yesterday assured to send a high-level business delegation, including the German Economic Affairs Minister, to seek the opportunities to improve economic investments and trade relations between Germany and Sri Lanka. The German Chancellor made these remarks when she met President Maithripala Sirisena yesterday at the former's office. The president who arrived in the Federal Chancellor's office, who received by the German leader. A guard of honor was also held to welcome President Sirisena. Finally, let's move to Ceylon Today. Lasanda's killing, police closing in. The police have produced composite artists of impressions of 2 of the suspects in the slaying of Sunday leader editor Lasanda Vikramatunga based on eyewitness recollections of the suspects. Yosita's bail motion. Mahinda arrives in lawyer's clock. UPFA and SLFP Kurunagala District MP Mahinda Rajapaksa, clad in a lawyer's cloak, was in the Colombo High Court yesterday at the hearing of the motion for bail in the case involving his second son Yosita Rajapaksa. Yosita is in remand on charges of involvement in alleged money laundering at the CSN network. It was the first time since 1993 that the former president has visited a court complex clad in a lawyer's black cloak. So close yet so far. Mahinda Rajapaksa, ex-Supreme Court judge, cross paths. Crowds at the Colombo High Court and District Court complexes were picked at the simultaneous arrival at court premises yesterday of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and ex-Supreme Court Judge Shirani Bandaranaike, albeit for two unrelated happenings there. Rajapaksa was there to attend hearing into a bail application in the Colombo High Court for son Jositha, while the former Supreme Court judge was there to vote in the election of a new secretary to the BASL. Undergrad's death in 2012. IGP orders CID to take over probe. IGP NK Ilangakon has ordered the CID to take over investigations into the deaths of two university students who were travelling on a motorcycle at Imbulgeda in the Colombo Kandy Road on 27 September 2012. This follows allegations by Lahiru Veerasekara, convener of the Inter-University Students Federation, to the effect that the police had wiped off the blood stains at the scene of the deaths of the university students. With all those highlights, let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to Athavan News Paper Highlights.